Okay. Okay. Welcome, Eddie Lang. Eddie's a guy that sits on death row in the state of Ohio. Last week, we talked a little bit about the inhumane way that they're thinking about executing people in Ohio with gas. Welcome, Eddie, and let's uh, start off where we left off.
Okay, what's going on, James? We pretty much talked about Ohio trying to get a bill passed through legislators about adopting a new lethal injection protocol. Right now, Ohio has a moratorium on the death penalty. They haven't executed anyone since 2018 due to the botched execution of Robert Van Hook. Since then, all executions was put on a hold while the state pretty much searched for another lethal injection protocol. DeWine did, put it into any executions while he's in office because of the complications that prisoners are having when they're being executed, which is a good thing. But I feel like, he definitely should have went on ahead and got rid of it definitely outright. The new method that they're trying to use is the nitrogen hypoxia, which is pretty much a gas that they put inside of a mask that the state of Alabama used a couple weeks ago to execute a prisoner. We try to, bring awareness to the death penalty, not just for Ohio, but across the United States, because, there's a lot of flaws within it. It's inhumane and it shouldn't be allowed. Right now it's 6 different methods of execution that's being used in the United States. Texas used the same method of execution that Ohio last used, which is kind of crazy because Texas has had a lot of box execution with these methods over the last 2 years. In fact, Texas had to allow expired drugs to be used in order to carry out execution, and have also got these drugs illegally across state lines. Any form of execution, whether it be gas mask, whether it be fentanyl, whether it be whatever, it shouldn't be allowed. If one state say that the death penalty is unconstitutional, is inhumane, then all states should adopt the same, standard. It shouldn't just be some states say that it's unconstitutional, other states say that it's constitutional. Some states use this drug, some states use other drugs. You can't tell if a person is physically suffering if you use an anesthetic, paralyze a person while you administer other drugs to kill a person. Just because a person physically are unable to verbally tell you that they're suffering doesn't mean they're not. That should be, something that people should be aware of. Information on death penalty, could be gathered on deathpenaltyinfo.org. People need to do, their homework and really research and understand, like, what's really going on with the death penalty, not only in Ohio, but in other states. The methods of execution, box executions, why people are put on death row, the statistical data, that causes legislators to, adopt other protocols and so forth. We definitely need to bring awareness, to the death penalty. Pharmaceutical compounds refuse to sell drugs to states that use these drugs for executions. A lot of the drug manufacturing companies have since merged with European companies that makes them, subject to European laws that, ban the sale of the lethal injection drugs to the United States. We really need to do, our due diligence of doing our own homework and our own understanding of what's going on with the death penalty. And then, getting people more aware of what's going on, through any outlet that you have, whether it be social media, whether it be community outreach programs, whether it be through church organizations, spread the word, let people know, like, what's really going on. And so that we can really get the support needed to get rid of the death penalty outright.
Hey guys, please share these videos. TikTok, thank you for watching. We have a lot of viewers right now, but please share and like the videos. Okay,
yeah,
Eddie.
Absolutely. Share it. Create a platform that you can be able to share it on social media, but also like the youth. We definitely need to talk to our youth about the death penalty, about crime in itself. A lot of cities, are having a lot of gun violence and a lot of high crime and predominantly, urban communities, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Baltimore, Maryland, Newark, New Jersey, California, Los Angeles. So we definitely need to, take advantage of mentoring and talking to our youth and let them know that, the gang involvement, the drug involvement, all these things could potentially lead them to be put on death row or to be incarcerated or to be, subject to what's going on. We need to, take that responsibility and teach our youth better. As fathers, as parents, as leaders, as mentors, as community leaders, all of it. We definitely need to, bring awareness to, crime as a whole because, before I came to death row, I thought that you had to be like a serial killer in order to be on death row. You had to, be a Jeffrey Dahmer or Anthony Sowell or something like that. But unfortunately, the death penalty ain't about, the nature of the offense. They publicly make it seem like it's the worst of the worst, but it's actually not. There's more cases that's not on death row of the worst of the worst, the people that's on death row. Whether it be a robbery gone bad, a drug deal gone bad, a home invasion, a rape case. It's all different criteria of people on death row. And a lot of times, if you pay attention to what's going on, people are sentenced to death row during election time. That has the most activity with the death penalty during election time. So it's more political. It's not about, heinous acts. It's political. It's about helping, DAs and judges and senators and governors and mayors get elected into office. So they want to be tough on crime and pass this, tough on crime act while they running for office. But then when they get into office, it's a different ball game. So, definitely spread the word about that. Right now, death row is being moved, or it's under the process of being moved to a different facility. And there's a group of us that are being told that we could possibly be moved to level 5, which is Supermax housing in Ohio State Penitentiary. Right now, we are not really given a firm understanding of why a few of us will be moved to level 5 placement. Me doing my own research and me, trying to make sense out of something that doesn't make sense, is security reasons. They're trying to say that we're the worst of the worst, which is kind of, crazy given the fact that right now, as I stand, I'm in general population setting with other death row inmates. I can come out my cell and interact, with other death row prisoners or whatever. So I don't understand how moving us to a higher level security prison, makes us being able to not be around other death row prisoners. So we're subjected to being placed in level 5. And level 5 is 23-in-1 housing, and anybody that know anything about being housed in Supermax facilities or level 5 or security housing units, it take a toll on your mental, it take a toll on your physical. It creates a lot of hardship on prisoners' well-being. And, that definitely need to be, spoken of, placing guys in level 5 settings, for things that, I haven't done nothing. It's not as if I stabbed the inmate or killed the inmate or tried to escape or done any of those things. So to place me in level 5 housing because they don't have enough bed space available for all death row inmates, it makes no sense, so we definitely need to, look into that as well. So do you, James, any other information on the bill, the abolition bill to get rid of the death penalty? Have you heard anything else with what's going on with that?
Well, it's been introduced, so it's going into committee. I'm not so sure they would have enough to pass it just because there's another bill in to do away with the death penalty, and they have quite a few Republicans supporting that bill.
Right, it's bipartisan.
Right. So I believe I just don't think it's going to go forward. But if Alabama did it, who knows? Ohio is one of the states that have always in the past supported the death penalty, but now they're finding out how inhumane that is. If you're a Republican and you say you're pro-life from the moment of conception to natural death, that would leave the death penalty out.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, like even with the abortion thing going on, it's like a double standard. Like you can say that a woman has no rights over her own body to determine what's best for her and her offspring. Whether she want to abort her baby or not. But then you go on to say that I'm deemed to be killed because of a crime that I'm accused of committing. It makes no sense. It's kind of hypocritical. Because at the end of the day, an eye for an eye leave everybody blind. If I deserve to die for crimes that I'm accused of committing, then the person that killed me the same way. It's another end of the cycle. So, we definitely need to, vote. We definitely need to get people at the tolls to vote to get this bill passed to get rid of the death penalty. It can't be stressed enough. We have bipartisan support. However, our attorney general is supporting it. And as far as the wine, I don't know where he stand with it because he kind of didn't say yes or no. I don't even want to misquote the guy, but he kind of said something on the lines of like, that didn't make sense to me about it. Like, so, I really don't know what the wine stand. I know he supported death penalty. He just don't support it being cruel or unusual punishment. And at the end of the day, it's all cruel or unusual punishment because, if I'm sitting 20, 30 years on death row waiting to be executed, that in itself is a torturous act. I'm mentally tortured. I'm physically tortured. I'm emotionally tortured. So, whether it be through a gas mask or IV, we still tortured through the whole process of start to finish. And that needs to be understood. There's no programming for death row. We don't have no programming. We don't have no rehabilitation programming or mental health programming or any of it. If we choose to act to speak to mental health, then that's what we choose to do. There's no educational programs. There's nothing for us to do in here but sit around and kind of look stupid. We make use of our time. Granted, we have TVs and we have playing cards and dominoes and stuff like that, but that's not therapeutic in the sense of if I get my case overturned and I get a second chance at society, I'm taking all of this pent up mental anguish and mental illnesses, I'm taking that out into the community. I'm taking this right along with me. And the reason why we're not eligible for rehabilitation programs is because you can't rehabilitate a person that's sentenced to death because the state believes that they're going to execute us. You know what I'm saying? So, and if they get rid of the death penalty right now, I want to tell you that an overwhelming majority of these guys in here are mentally ill. Like they suffer from mental health issues as a result of the conditions of their confinement. And guys have came to death row with mental health issues. So if I had a mental health issue, PTSD or bipolar or schizophrenia prior to me coming to death row, after 20 years, you can only imagine it gets worse. So, we definitely need to be aware of what's going on with that as well.
What, it's been about, 5 years since they executed anybody in Ohio?
Yeah, 2018, the last person was Robert Van Hook, and his execution was botched, which caused them to actually put a moratorium on the death penalty. A judge out of Cincinnati, Judge Mertz, stopped the execution of Keith Hennis, who was scheduled to be executed based off of the gossip issue out of Oklahoma that started the whole process. But, they determined that the methods they was using created like a waterboarding effect. An autopsy revealed that Robert Van Hook had water or fluid in his lungs, which showed that, he definitely suffered while he was being executed. So it's not about the physical resistance. A person can not physically show you during the time that they're executed that they're in pain because they try to administer a paralyzing drug, an anesthetic, to keep us from being able to move. So physically, just because we don't physically show you that we're being, we're in pain or we're suffering, doesn't mean that internally we're not. You know what I'm saying? And people think that, when I hear like he died peacefully or he died in his sleep, that doesn't mean that a person, just because they died in their sleep, there's no such thing as a peaceful death, in my opinion. That's just me. Like, I feel like at some point, it's some sort of suffering, whether it be mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically. I feel like it's some form of a suffering act when you die, period. So there's no way that they can rule out any drug, whether it be a gas mask, any kind of drug that they use or any method of execution that they use is painful. You know what I'm saying? It's uncalled. It shouldn't be allowed. You know, the death penalty should definitely be abolished. And I'm speaking from someone that's on death row, but I'm also speaking as a father, you know, as an uncle, you know, as a brother, as a husband. You know, I wouldn't want my loved ones to go through any of this. I wouldn't want no one to go through this whole anguish of being in this position. You know, I've seen firsthand guys that I've established bonds with that was like brothers to me, that was like, you know, mentors, uncles, or father figures that, you know, after, you know, 18 years of being incarcerated, you know, to lose them, to see them go through that, yo, it's not a good feeling. It's not good, you know. So we definitely need to go out and do diligence of supporting the bill to get rid of the death penalty, you know.
Right, and one way you could do that, folks, is by emailing Nate Manning, who's the chair of the Judiciary Committee, and everybody that sits on the Ohio Judiciary Committee, and then in the House, anybody that sits on the Criminal Justice Committee. Email them, call them, write letters, you know, and all that could make a difference to spare someone's life.
And also think about this though, you know, like I understand that, you know, murder is wrong. I understand that crime is wrong. Like we're not sitting here saying like we should be forgiven for the crimes we committed. You know, we should be forgiven and just, you know, everything should just go be normal. We're not saying that. You know, we understand that, you know, you do wrong, you know, it's consequences to your actions, you know. But, you know, the death penalty in itself, like to send somebody to death row and say they deserve to die, you know, most of us been on death row since we was 18, 19 years old. You know, most of us I'd have spent 18 years on death row. You know, there's a lot of guys in here 20, 25, 30, 35 years on death row, and they have been in here since they was 18, 19 years old. So if you're telling me that our brain as a human being don't fully develop until we're 25 years old, and that you can excuse a college kid saying that he's a kid at 18, 19, 20 years old, and you're not fully mature and have a really understanding of life, you know, up until a certain age, then the same should apply with crime. You know, that should be a mitigating factor that should be supported. You know, mental health issues, abuse. You know, a lot of us have went through a lot of trauma in our lives that caused us to be in situations that presented ourselves to be charged with these crimes. Whether we did it or not, you know, that's a different argument. But you know, people change. You know, people make mistakes. You know, we're not the worst of the worst. You know, it's people in society that's worse than us. It's people that's doing 20 years that have done worse stuff than people that's on death row. So the standard of sentencing somebody who's the worst of the worst that's on death row, we're not the worst of the worst. You know, there's less fights on death row in the last 10 years. It's less fights on death row in the last 10 years than in the last 10 days in regular population. People that's not on death row.
And statistics show that at least 10% of those on death row in Ohio are innocent or wrongfully convicted. So if you execute one person that is innocent, that's a tragedy in itself.
Absolutely. Not even just the people that's innocent, but it's also people in here that actually did not commit the actual crime, that was just a part of the crime. And the person that committed the crime took a plea deal and turned states against the person that was a part of the crime in order to sentence that person to death. In my situation, you know, they didn't know which one of us, me and my co-defendant, actually committed the crime. They just allowed my co-defendant to testify against me to say I did it in order to be able to secure conviction because he had already pled guilty and took a deal. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like stuff like that happens. Plea bargaining happens. If you feel like I'm the worst of the worst, if you feel like I deserve to be on death row, then why is plea bargaining an option? You get what I'm saying? Like, why is appeals an option? If I'm guilty, it should be, if let's say, and I don't agree with it by any standard, but let's say, okay, the death penalty is appropriate. You agree with the death penalty. You agree that I deserve to be executed. Then it should not be no doubt whatsoever that I committed these crimes. It should be fact. You should be able to prove that I committed these crimes the way I committed them. No doubt, no, none of that. Like, you should be able to prove that I did it. And if you can't do that, then how can you kill me for something that you don't know if I actually did or not? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, we're gonna stop in a few minutes for part two, Eddie, because I want to do a part three. eventually.
Okay.
And I would like to do it on some of the difficulties people on death row are facing on a daily basis. Like I'd like to discuss visitation, phone calls,
Right.
and just what is going on the inside of death row, and let's get our community out here intrigued to learn about what you guys go through.
Right. I'm in the process, like I said before, I'm in the process of uploading content to my social media platform. It's a slow process, but I got a family, kids, and a lot of other things going on right now. But y'all can follow me at true_royalty87 on Instagram. This is TRU_royalty87. Also on TikTok, The Life of a Prisoner, DALIFE. Of a prisoner. That's on TikTok. And I'm gonna be updating my platforms within the next coming days, God willing, with some more content of not only just the death penalty, but about prison reform and about gun violence and the youth ministries and stuff like that. I also wrote books on these same topics. You can find my books on lulu.com. That's LULU.com. One book in particular is Involuntary Servitude by my name, Edward Lang. If you just search my name, Edward Lang, 3 or 4 books will pop up. I also have coloring books for the kids. I also have urban fiction books. I have poetry books. I have, a numerous, amount of books on Lulu.com. You can search for Edward Lang or The Lang Gang. The Lang Gang is not a gang. It's not a criminal gang. It's my family. We all Lang, so we just use the Lang Gang for my family. You can also search Tech and Sassy, TK and Sassy. It should be about 8 or 9 books on Lulu.
Okay, and
definitely follow me and support me.
Yeah. And if you could have your family send me a friend request on Facebook, I could not find your page.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that within the next probably hour. It's Valentine's Day for me and my wife. Will definitely spend some time, celebrating Valentine's Day. But definitely, if not tonight, tomorrow, it'll definitely be done.
Yeah. I got 3 pages. They could send it to all 3 if they want.
Okay, cool.
But
definitely, the links is on my Instagram. All my book links is on my Instagram or on TikTok. So y'all definitely see it on there as well.
Okay, and guys, please sign up for YouTube, subscribe to it. It's under James Cronenberger, Hope for the Community. Please like all the videos on there. Ed has several different videos. One, he's got over 5,000 views. Let's get all of the videos at that same number. And please share them and send them to the media and send them to all your friends. Okay, Edward.
Appreciate you. Y'all take it easy, be safe out here, and try to make the world a better place by doing something meaningful, productive, helping somebody. Helping somebody don't take nothing more than just a couple seconds.
Okay, brother.
All right.
Thanks.
All right, James. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
Email me, text me, let me know.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, TikTok.